So hi, I'm Cristiana Palandri. I'm a composer and a visual artist. And so today I will present this sculpture as spatial sound interface, mixed electroacoustic music and tactile dimension in live performance. So this is an analysis and an autoethnographic analysis of Ouroboros. So this is a composition, and this is my main case study of my PhD research. And it's a composition for grand piano, live electronics, ambisonic spatialization, and a sculpture. A sculpture that is a control device for spatialization, for controlling spatialization and sound processing. So, so the aim of this research is to enhance the experience in mixed electroacoustic music and for spatialization processes in live performances. And why I choose a sculpture? Because first of all, for my background, because I'm a visual artist and a sculptor as well, and I'm trying to combine the tactile perception with sonic perception during concert, because my aim is to make music more tangible, and so I think that the best way for my research is to create a 3D object that can be associated to 3D spatialization and to the processing of the sound. And I started with other works previously, and one was just a brief introduction. I used sculpture, as in this case it was a piece for soprano and tape recorder, but in this case it was just an object that can be that was on the stage without any function. Then at a certain point the soprano was wearing this sculpture, and so it changed during the show, with this act. So at the beginning, the sculpture didn't have any sound. In another piece, I had a ball with some bells inside, and so one of the instruments was a viola player was shaking and used it, like an instrument. And now I start to work with this sculpture. That so the main question of the research is can sound become physically perceptible, somehow tangible, and how can this alterate perception and enhance audience engagement? I decided to present really a sculpture that will be placed on the grand piano on the right side, and it refers the imaginary to natural history museums, because I wanted to present a really different device, compared to the new musical interfaces, because I want that the audience, when is going to, or when is in a concert hall, has the impression to be in a sort of a museum with a grand piano as well. So to match different fields, coming from contemporary art and the music field. So this the sculpture is still in progress, and I will present it in mid-April in Leicester with a concert at the Montfort University. And just 3 of these crystals are interactive, and the other are just aesthetically pleasant. And the base is made with these 2 bird legs. And the 3 interactive crystals have 3 sensors inside. So one is, so maybe I can show you some, okay. So this is the process that's going on. So one has a scale sensor to detect hand pressure, and so it's squeezable. And another one has a joystick sensor, so the performer, the pianist in this case, can freely move with the circular movement, and will map this movement with the spatialization, the 3D spatialization. And the last one has a knob, so you can just move like back and forth, and it will be associated with some pitch frequencies and DSP process. And it's, as you see, I started with some drawings And I mean, many fields are combined now in this research, and this is the most difficult part. And but given a conceptual framework of this research is usually in mixed electroacoustic music, it's quite with 3D sound system, it's quite difficult to understand what's going on, no? From the two perspectives, the perspective of the performer and the perspective of the audience. Because, okay, the performer can usually plays outside the sweet spot of a freedom from spatialisation due to the Larsen effect and feedback problem. So usually he's far away from what the audience is listening. So he can perceive the direct piano signal in this case, but not all the DSP. So usually, in my case, or even usually we need to use headphones to provide a sort of a reconstruction of what is going on in the concert hall in the main part. And headphones, I think, is still not the it's not a tool that can recreate what's going on. So that's why I decided to use a real 3D object, because manipulating each of these three crystals and to be associated with the 3D spatialisation, we can physically perceive the movement of the hand in the space and compare to the sonic movement in the space, so the performer can at least physically perceive these movements. And on the other side, from the audience perspective, we have all these layers intertwined, and so they can listen to the concert, but they cannot associate the performer gesture to a sort of a sonic result. So at least, given the possibility to look at a sculpture, we can find a connection between the movement of the hand on a sculpture that it's really visible on the grand piano, and at least some sonic movement, or at least sonic process. And I applied the two concepts of Simon Emmerson. This is the local function and the field function. So local is the relationship, the perceptive relationship that the performer gesture and relates to the sonic output. And the field function is the result, the sonic result that is placed within an environment. For environment, I refer to all the processes like digital signal processing, reverberation, or the reflection in the concert hall, and 3D spatialisation. So I applied this concept, and sculpture is the bridge that can connect the local field of the performer to the field of the audience that the audience can clearly perceive. But at least we have an object that the performer can manipulate, and the audience, and I decided at the end of my piece that the pianist will ask to one of the person in the public to join her and to manipulate the sculpture, to really have the same position, the same performance as the pianist had during the concert. So he can feel, he can perceive the spatialisation tactically, like it was for the performer. And okay, what else? So these are the main part, and moreover, there is another term that I refer, that is the control intimacy that usually characterizes the relationship between the performer and their instruments. The term refers to a degree of expressive interaction between the performer and the instrument. And I think that this culture can be a sort of a control intimacy that can link the local field of the performer and the concert hall, what's going on during the concert hall, all the reverberation, DSP process, and 3D spatialisation. And given another conceptual framework, Another important, extremely important tool is the 3D spatialization, because okay, our human perception works thanks to cross-modal association, cross-modal perception. That it means then all the senses work together to give one sense. I mean, like when we are looking at something, so the sight is the result of all the senses together. So they did mean like thanks to the ears, thanks to the smell. And I think that 3D spatialization enhances cross-modal association because it reproduces sound as in reality. So we can really perceive sonic movements, so we can feel and experience the proximity of the sound or the distance, you know, as we have in our daily life. So combining all these three tools like 3D spatialization with the tactile experience of manipulating an object, a sculpture in this case, we can experience something more physically related to the sound. Thank you.